we are excited to have the one and only Lewis Howes in the studio with us. Brand new book, The Greatness Mindset. Unlock the power of your mind and live your best life today. Now, Lewis is a New York Times bestselling author of the book, The School of Greatness. Greatness is the title of your podcast as well. You spend a lot of time working on greatness. And you know what? This is a topic that I am just kind of, I'm a little bit pissed off about.
Why?
Honestly. Not about greatness, but about the fact that I'm talking to a lot of my friends right now, and I've heard you've been on some of their shows too. There's a whole group of us that are kind of raising up against this mediocrity movement, the quiet quitting movement, the YOLO movement, the movement of I want to work as little as possible and expect people to give me stuff for free. You know that movement,
right?
It's called communism, I think. But but the greatness mindset, striving for greatness, striving for excellence, it always unlocks things. It always unlocks gifts for you and talents for you. And you've really studied greatness for like a decade plus.
Yeah.
So let's just start with the idea, what is greatness and why bother?
Well, I think I want to share what greatness is by first defining what success is to me from my own personal experience and what I've studied. I wanted success most of my life. I wanted it in sports and then in business, and I got it for me, but I realized it wasn't everything. And at 30, I was like, well, I'm accomplishing so much in sports. I'm winning. I'm getting the awards. I'm making money in my business, but why do I still not feel fully fulfilled? And that's when I started to study greatness, and I realized that greatness is really what you've been doing for so long. It's about using your gifts and talents to pursue your dreams, but making the impact on the people around you. Whereas success is more about how can I win? How can I look good? How can I accomplish for me? Whereas greatness is about how can I do those things in the service of others? And that's where I really love and try to model the things that you've done, which is about growth and contribution in your process of goals.
Well, the idea, we're talking to small business people on the EntreLeadership podcast, and the idea being here that business can have soul.
Yes.
Or it can have success. But if it's going to have greatness, it's got soul
100%
to it. It's visceral. You can feel the service. You can feel the community is glad you're there.
Yes.
Your customers are glad you're there. They don't feel screwed over in every transaction.
Yeah. They feel celebrated and seen. Like your customers, when they get out of debt, they come here and they scream and they celebrate and they go through an emotional experience because of the service you provide.
As I said, with the crap on TikTok and the crap on Twitter particularly, I mean, some of the other platforms are not as bad, but they're still got their version of it. There's this whole thing of, and there always has been, it's just social media is a new way to do it.
Amplifies it.
Yeah, it amplifies the stupidity. But but there's always been, there seems to be a disturbing level of people that are somehow demotivated to reach for the stars.
Yeah.
And it's just distressing. I feel like the old guy, get off my lawn. I mean, come on, man. Success, I mean, greatness, go do it. And you talk about your path to success means you must tune out the critics. 100% of the time, the people that are, if you're going for it, if you're leaving it all on the field, if you're getting up, leave the cave, kill something, and drag it home, the people that are part of that anti-work movement, I'll call it, are going to be critical.
Yes.
How do you tune out the critics?
I think for me, I've found good coaches that give me great feedback. That's the right information that I need to improve and to grow and to overcome. But as you know, no one great is really critical of others. No one who is an author leaves nasty reviews on other authors' books. No one who's actually doing the work and creating things are out there talking bad about others. Maybe it's a few people, but most people, when they're creating something and doing something, they know how hard it is to do that work, and they're not critical of others. So it's being aware and to really keeping your coaches, your mentors, your team close to you to give you the right feedback to support you to overcoming these challenges, but not listening to the critics and only relying on their opinions in order to see if you are of value in doing good work.
Better a weary warrior than a quivering critic.
Yes.
Never been a statue erected to the critics.
Yeah. Man in the arena.
Yeah. The classic lines from Roosevelt, and And I'd rather have that dust on me. I'd rather have those bruises on me, those scars on me. I'd rather have the dirt under my fingernails, the mental calluses from the stress of having tried, than to be the quivering soul in the corner that Roosevelt talks about that never tried.
And I don't think you can have greatness with instant gratification. Again, this is something I think you preach a lot, where it's like you can't be great if you just want something that you didn't earn or deserve or put work into creating and developing. If you didn't overcome something, you can be great as a human being for your generosity, but the instant gratification desire that you're talking about on social media, where it's like, I want this now without doing the work, without putting in the reps, I don't think you can be great in that endeavor without doing those things.
Well, talk about the role of, and you do a great job. Talk about the role of failure on the path to greatness.
I don't know. Did you play sports growing up?
Yeah.
What was your main sport?
Hockey. Ice hockey. Yeah.
When I played sports.
Water skiing, but yeah.
Water skiing.
A lot of falls. Yeah, a lot of failure.
No, here's a funny, speaking about the internet and memes, here's a meme that I actually appreciate. There's a meme that I've seen out there years ago that is of a baby trying to walk. And the quote above this photo of this baby trying to walk says, when a child is learning to walk and it falls almost 1,000 times, never does he think to himself, maybe this walking thing isn't for me. It's actually the path to falling and stumbling and being like, okay, I got to figure out how to stabilize myself, that it takes us to required to walk and learning that process. In sports, failure was just feedback. It was the information that I needed. Okay, this approach to my shot doesn't work. That's information. It's feedback. Let's adjust it and try it the next time. In sports, Michael Jordan missed half of his shots, and he was the greatest of all time, arguably. The best baseball players fail 70% of the time. They strike out or don't hit a hit 70% of the time, and they're the greatest.
And they have a 300. I mean,
and they have 300.
God.
Yeah. And I just think it's approaching failure as part of the process towards success and accomplishing what you want. I love this story from Sarah Blakely. I'm not sure if you've met Sarah.
Yeah, I know Sarah.
Sarah from Spanx sold her company, I think, for $1.2 billion a couple of years ago.
Sarah and Jesse have spoken for us at Entre.
Yeah, they're amazing. And she has this amazing story that I talk about in the book, where she said every night at the dinner table, when she was growing up, her dad would ask a simple question to the kids. What did you fail at today? And they would get in trouble if they didn't fail at something, or if they didn't have something to say that they tried at. And I think celebrating the effort and saying, you did it, keep going. Okay, you're going to stumble, and then you're going to figure it out eventually. And if not, maybe that's not your thing, and try the next thing. But celebrating the failure as a part of your trying, you're learning, you're massaging, you're creating your talent, your gift. It's all part of the process. Don't shy away from it. Lean into it.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, Sarah Blakely started the Spanx, the underwear to make you look skinny thing, and one of the youngest female billionaires in American history. Brilliant business lady.
And she talked about failure is the way.
Yeah, it is the way. It's the path. I'm convinced, after having met people in ministries, huge ministries, and sports figures, country music people that I know here in Nashville, business people that have done amazingly things of scale, that failure is really a pile of garbage. All the things you did, you just happen to be standing on it instead of laying under it.
I like that.
It's just this gleaming mountain of success. Really probably has a stench to it.
The smell underneath.
It's just it's really ugly.
You got to climb it all.
I don't really want to look down from there, but because I know what I'm standing on is all of my stupid stuff that I survived and never do again. See, I do a lot of stupid stuff, but my motto is don't do the same stupid stuff twice.
Yeah.
It's course correction.
I wish
It's course correction.
It takes me a while to learn things, and I do a lot of the stupid things over and over.
Winners never quit. Yeah, they do. They quit doing the stupid stuff.
Right.
But you don't quit. You just quit doing that thing that way because it didn't work.
You adjust it.
Yeah, and it left a mark. Ouch.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that again. Ouch.
Yeah, exactly.
And man, I did that listening to the tapes of my radio show when I first started. It sounded like the Beverly Hillbillies were doing talk radio. It's country fried from now on.
You mean you weren't perfect right away?
Oh, Oh, you have no idea how bad it was. It was so bad. And but I listened to it and I went, God, you have absolutely no credibility. You sound like you are you like your parents or cousins. This is awful. And so I had to go course correct. I had to get a little help with I didn't want to take all the Southern twang out because some of it has a certain appeal, but I had to get enough out to where it had some credibility.
Sure.
Oh my gosh.
Sure.
Because it really was bad.
And that's why I think having a coach, from interviewing a lot of top athletes and being an athlete myself, I never accomplished my goals without a coach, without having some support. If you can't hire a coach, finding a personal advisory board of mentors and friends and peers that can support you. And I just think there's this kind of lone wolf mentality as well out there. Is like, I'm going to do it all on my own. And again, being here, knowing you have 1,000 employees and you're impacting tens of millions of people every day through your network, you can't do that on your own. You need a team, you need coaches, you need advisors, you need support to get you to that next level. And I just think that's wisdom.
Yeah, that's one of the EntreLeadership materials. We have EntreLeadership coaches here on the team that work with the small business owners that are listening to us right now. And you cannot, without videotape and someone to help you analyze the videotape, you can't correct your golf swing.
That's it.
You just can't do it. You can't, and you got to have someone else looking over your shoulder and going, you don't really see that, do you?
Give me that feedback,
I'm blessed here because I've got so many high quality leaders in my inner circle that we're all accountable to each other, and so we coach each other internally.
Exactly.
But one of the biggest things that small business people struggle with is exactly what you said, is loneliness. Because you can't see your own flaws.
Can't.
You can't see that swing is not, you're off swing plane, you're going to hook the ball. That's going to, and you got to see the video, and then you got to have a guy go, oh, look, if you'll just change that stance, look at that. Look at what that did. Isn't that amazing?
I don't do anything without a coach, or at least an advisor or a mentor or someone who's been there and done that, and leaning on them consistently. And that's why I think, again, if you're an entrepreneur or a small business owner, like if you haven't signed up for your coaching program here, that should be the first step people take, because I don't do anything without a coach if I want to be great at it.
One of the things I loved about the new book, The Greatness Mindset, Unlock the Power of Your Mind and Live Your Best Life Today. Lewis Howes is my guest. Is this really the thesis, the central concept of the book is the greatness mindset.
Yes.
So explain what you mean when you say a mindset of greatness.
There's a page in here that is an assessment that I talk about the difference between the powerless mindset and the greatness mindset. And this
powerless
mindset
and
versus the greatness mindset on page 201. And it's just a simple graphic that allows you to see it and reflect and say, where am I stepping into? A powerless mindset, this does not mean you're bad or wrong or judgment. Just where are you at? Do I lack a meaningful mission? If so, I'm not stepping into my greatness when I'm not clear on a path. It doesn't mean I have to know that what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. Just what season am I in, and am I taking action on that path? Does fear control me? If so, it has some type of power over me. It's holding me back. It's causing me to not act courageously because I'm controlled by fear. Am I crippled by self-doubt? I'm a big believer that self-doubt is the killer of dreams. We could have all the talent in the world. We could have everyone else around us saying, you're incredible, you can do it. But if we don't believe, we're not going to take the action.
We were talking about the haters, but the worst haters sometimes in our own head.
Man, I don't know about you, Dave, but if they recorded my thoughts when I was younger growing up, my teen years, my 20s, and they put it on a loudspeaker to the world, they'd probably put me in a mental institution for all the negative things I said to me. And if I said these things to my friends and my family, my partner, they wouldn't want to hang out with me.
We don't allow people to bully people anymore, but we bully ourselves
so much. And so again, it is we're concealing our past pains, and that's why we hurt ourselves. We say nasty things to ourselves. We're defined by opinions of others. That means we're more powerless when we act out of fear of what other people will think about us, and we drift towards complacency. Again, what you were talking about, this kind of quiet quitting mentality, this I don't want to work hard. The complacency is a powerless mindset way of thinking. So it's just being aware of these things. And again, it's not right or wrong, good or bad, but stepping into greatness means being driven by a meaningful mission, addressing and writing down your fears. I call it the fear list, going all in on your fears and making them something you're confident in, something you overcome, overcoming the self-doubt, whatever that insecurity where you say, I'm not enough, and learning how to make it and I am enough and I'm still improving and growing. That's what we need to do. We heal the past. We create a healthy identity, which means we're not speaking horribly to ourselves constantly. We create a new contract with ourselves that we step into consistently, and we take action with a game plan. Again, your 7 baby steps is a game plan. It's taking action with a game plan based on a meaningful mission. And a meaningful mission with a greatness mindset is not just for me. It's for we. It's how can I impact the people around me in my world?
Yeah, it's work that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be. I got to be doing something that matters at the end of the day. When we add it up, was it worth? Did it do something for the culture? Did it do something for the society? Did it do something for the organization? This does align exactly with what we were talking about with failing forward, as our friend John Maxwell would say. This idea that the gleaming mountain of success is really a pile of garbage. It involves engaging in activity, which 100% of the time is going to cause you to make mistakes.
100%.
The only way to avoid a mistake is do nothing, right?
But doing nothing is a mistake.
Yeah, and then you made a different kind of mistake, the mistake of passivity.
Yes.
And so you engage in activity 100% of the time, you're going to make a mistake of some kind to some degree. And then you get to create a healthy identity, which is forgive yourself
100%.
for having done something stupid.
100%.
I mean, the stupid stuff I've done became my brand, and it's working for me.
Right.
It's my failures are like make me relatable.
But you don't beat yourself up over them all the time.
No, I don't. I mean, the rearview mirror is smaller than the windshield for a reason.
You've owned it. You've accepted it. You've taken responsibility. You've had peace with it.
I'm not in denial that I did something stupid. I'm not in denial it caused me pain or someone else pain or both. I'm not in denial, but it is in the rearview mirror, and there is nothing I can do about it. So I'm going to look out the windshield. It's a lot larger, and let's go on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Next up. But
a lot of times, at least I did this, and I know other people, we hold on to the memories of our past so much in our present, and it affects our future as well because we're living in that past.
Well, and we'll cover that same conversation 4,000 times in our head that's already gone.
Gone.
The person's dead.
Can't do anything
They're
about
not
it.
even alive anymore.
Gone.
And you're still having the conversation. Move on.
Yeah.
That's grace. That's personal grace, giving yourself forgiveness for not being perfect and existing in a human body. And oddly enough, not being perfect, existing in a human body and in a human experience and forgiving yourself for those things is an element of greatness.
100%.
That's weird.
Again, it's healing past pains as the greatest mindset. It's not concealing past pains and being in shame.
Or being in denial about them.
Denial, lack of forgiveness, resentment. That doesn't support your peace.
I know exactly what I did when I was 26 that caused me to file bankruptcy when I was 28. I know exactly what I did. And I know who did things to me.
Yes.
I was a victim of some things. But I was also set myself up to be a victim. So ultimately, I was not a victim at the end of that. So I'm going to take personal responsibility for the parts that I have. I'm going to avoid the type of people that can do that to you, and that's one of the things called banks. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do these kinds of things. I'm going to make these decisions to never be there again, to never be there again, to never be there again. So, there's a scar there, and there's a memory there that goes with that, but it's not my identity. It's in the past.
Yeah.
And man, in business, guys, you guys listening, you people doing leadership, you're gonna screw up. You're managing people. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna trust the wrong people. You're gonna place loyalty in the wrong places. You're gonna fight sometimes on a hill you shouldn't be fighting on. Welcome to running a business. Welcome to human interactions.
Yeah.
So forgive yourself and move on. Don't do the same thing again.
Right.
I mean, that's it. That one I'm not going to do again. That one I'm not going to do again. And this is the great part of the greatness mindset. And for goodness sakes, have a meaningful mission. And for goodness sakes, have a good coach in your corner. Get in touch with his EntreLeadership if we can help you with that. We'd love to.
Yeah.
Lewis Howes, you're a great man. You are greatness. You are. I've been watching your career. We've been friends a long time.
Yeah.
You have blown up. You've become a huge deal. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
The Greatness Mindset, his latest best-selling book, Unlock the Power of Your Mind and Live Your Best Life Today. So be sure and check it out. He's a New York Times best-selling author. Check out his podcast as well. He's been a friend of ours for a long time and will continue to be. Thanks for stopping by, brother.
Sir. Appreciate it, bro.
Good to have you.
Thanks, Dave.